Hey friends, how you doing? It's Ernie from the Trader of Futures, and it is Friday. I believe today is Friday, September 28th, 2018. It's about 20 minutes past 1 p.m. on the East Coast. Yesterday I was a little early. Today I'm a little bit late, so it all averages out. But those of you that were waiting around, I thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Today's show, the last few shows, I've concentrated somewhat on options, and I'm going to continue that. I am also going to start doing some more shows on the fundamentals of futures contracts. This weekend, I have a show planned where we'll talk about a way to get into futures and stocks with very, very small accounts. Now, it's an interesting concept. It can be funded with crypto, which is kind of interesting considering that this particular show is entitled Bitcoin Floundering in the Wind. So in the face of me expressing my disdain for crypto right now, and this is a temporary thing, I think, but there is true disdain for the market right now. It's not going anywhere. In the face of me expressing disdain for the market, I still take it as payment for services. And I'm going to recommend it for other services that I think are quite valuable. So getting back to what I was talking about, if you wanted to trade a really small account and you don't have a lot of money, well, how do you do it? Well, with Forex, that's relatively simple, and it's one of the reasons why so many traders, so many newbie traders, as well as experienced traders, are attracted to Forex, and that's because you can trade with position sizes of wide and varying degree, from very, very tiny in micro accounts or micro positions, and you can graduate up to mini and then full-size positions, or as large as you want. So in that regard, futures is very attractive to people that don't have a lot of money, maybe a few $1,000s, maybe even only $500 they can get into trading. Well, imagine if you were able to extend that kind of concept, that micro concept, to stocks like Apple or futures like gold or oil. Now that would be really cool, now wouldn't it? Well, you can do that. And there are services out there that will take and allow you to fund such a platform with your crypto. So you can take your Bitcoin, you can fund that account, and then you can trade all the futures that are out there and a lot of the stocks. And you're not bound by the weighty positions that are normally accompanied by these futures contracts. So for instance, an oil contract, it can move really fast. And, after it's in just a few minutes, you could be up or down several hundred, even several thousands of dollars. Now, imagine if you were able to take a position size where that simply could not happen. That instead of several hundreds or thousands of dollars, you're talking about maybe up or down 10 or 20 or $30. Now, there is a way now to participate in playing those markets with smaller accounts. Or even if you wanted to get in and learn these markets but didn't have the money. Now, what you're basically doing, you're not trading the actual thing, you're trading like a proxy. And I think they call it bits. And you fund these bits with your Bitcoin, and they produce proxy contracts that you can buy in very, very small denominations. So you can trade all the regular futures accounts. That's the way to go. Now there's a few of these guys out there, but the one that I'm recommending is called Simple FX. This weekend I'll be putting out a video talking about Simple FX, how to use it, how to fund it, how to get started, how you can take the futures calls that are in the AI system that we have. And without having to actually get so deep into, or make it like a, I guess, almost like a paper trading account, but you're trading real money. And quite frankly, trading real money and having real skin in the game is very different from paper trading. And it will open it up to people with accounts as small as just a couple $1,000s or less. Now, how much do I recommend if you're going to trade the futures? That's quite a bit more. I would say $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 are good starting places. So that will give you an idea of the difference between the two. So the thing that, getting back to the title of this show, I said Bitcoin is floundering in the wind. It seems that way. I've been very, very critical of Bitcoin and all other cryptos, mostly because they are fraught with fraud and scams. It's very, very difficult to figure out what isn't fraudulent, what isn't a scam, what isn't a Ponzi scheme, and what is legitimate. What are the legitimate projects that are out there? Most of the projects follow exactly the same template. Put a white paper out there, a roadmap, get a project going, put some people on LinkedIn, have an ICO. Now, at least the less than fraudulent ones, and still this is not a guarantee that they're not fraudulent, are now going through and are being SEC compliant and registering as a security and doing the appropriate KYC for people that are getting involved in their ICOs. Now, of course, this is very different than what it was back in 2017 and early 2018, where it was the Wild West and anybody could get involved in these markets. Anybody could get involved in it and anybody could get screwed, and most people did. Some people made a lot of money. But don't think that because you made a lot of money that it is, by that fact alone, it is a virtuous and legitimate market. It's not. Most of those people, most of the projects out there are scam artists. It's as simple as that. They are scammers. To this day, there's still nearly 200 cases, FBI cases, Treasury cases, SEC cases, where they're pursuing fraudulent operators. In fact, the scams this year, in 2018, although we're not seeing as much of the fanfare because prices aren't going up, but the scams in total dollar amounts this year already is more than 4 times what it was in 2017. Now, just because you're not seeing it doesn't mean it's not true. It is true. These are stats that come directly from the FBI and the SEC. And it's the reason why the SEC has been so reticent in granting an ETF. They can't, in good conscience, say that they're going to regulate one of these things and feel like they're providing stability and safety to the customers of the market, stable markets and consumer safety. Those are their 2 charges. They can't do it. And that's why they don't do it. It's really, really very, very simple. And you can believe whatever you want. But I guarantee you, the SEC, the FBI, the Treasury, and others, these regulatory agencies, they know what they're doing. The CFTC, etc. I mean, quite frankly, I'd like to see them come up with some new regulation that provides a little bit more latitude, provides more of an opening for non-accredited investors to get involved in this stuff, because I have a project waiting in the wings that I would like to push forward in the name of Junto Coin. I'd love that, but I can't. My hands are tied. Really, really want to do it. I think it's a great idea. But, so that's that. That is that. I named this, Floundering the Wind, because if you were to look at Bitcoin over the past several weeks, many, many weeks, that's really what it looks like. It looks like just, it's a technical term. And we can bring that up. I'll show you what I mean. It's got no direction. It's constantly being manipulated and pumped on a periodic basis, which makes for actually great trading. So still, the strategy of short all rallies is really making hay. So what we'll do, we'll take a look at Bitcoin right now and see what's going on. Some people have asked me to take a look at various other coins. I really have absolutely no interest. Now, there is a another crypto coin that's coming out from a company that I do have some respect for, Hashgraph, Hedera Hashgraph. They have their Carbon, which is essentially a replacement for Tether. And I have great confidence that they would be able to provide a valid crypto alternative to Tether. Tether, Tether, I have no confidence. No confidence at all. All right, so what we're seeing here, what we are seeing here is the flapping in the wind. Flap, 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 flap. I guess this is going to keep on going. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. At some point, it's going to break that 6,000 or 5,700 barrier, and it's going to go down, and then it's going to come up again. But it is basically following along with what I had predicted much earlier this year, and that is that Bitcoin will be hitting a range somewhere between 4,000 and 9,000. Over time, it will drift down to the lower half of that range. And that's what we're going to see. All right, let's go to the comments. So, all eyes. He says, futures closed today. Greetings, Ernie. Bitcoin going to 60K? With a wink, he says. All right, to say that futures closed today. No, futures don't close today. It depends on the contract. But today is the end of a quarter. So from a fiscal point of view, it is important to a lot of financiers. The futures market closes at 5 p.m. today and then reopens on Sunday at 6. But it does that every Friday, unless it's a holiday Friday. Then you have to go by the holiday schedule. So he says, let's be honest. Most things are able to be funded by crypto in 2018. I buy gold and silver with crypto now also. What do you mean they're able to be funded? You mean that you can purchase things, most things, not most things. A very, 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 very select few number of things can be purchased with crypto. So if you want to equate that with most, then you have to check your level of honesty. Save your Bitcoin. The fact they are accepting it for this type of trading, it's a tell-all. No, it's basically an industrious and clever entrepreneur that's recognizes a market and then makes a market. That's what it is. Look forward to the Simple FX run through Ernie. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Crypto Shill, how you doing? Nick Painter. Peter Brandt tweeted compound fulcrum forming. Fake out, you think? A compound fulcrum. A lot of people refer to Peter Brandt. I've looked at some of his stuff, and then when I looked at it, I decided not to look at it anymore. But people keep on following him. So what the hell is a compound fulcrum? Is he saying that, somehow we're going to be using this long lever and it's like on the shoulders of Atlas, we're going to lift the world with Bitcoin? Is that what it is? I don't know. Peter Brandt. He's probably an okay guy. Allie says FBI has seized one broker. Ernie loves XRP. All right. You're just a troll. All eyes. That's one of the greatest trolling comments that I've seen in a little while. I know with low volume, whales can print out what they want the charts to show. They don't even need low volume. There's enough whales out there that they can. Well, when you're talking about low volume, I mean, I guess it's all relative. The volume that they can generate relative to everybody else is very high, but everybody else is participating in a relatively illiquid. Well, it's a relatively liquid market, but it is easily manipulatable. Alex says there's actually a significant amount, I think he meant amount of progress being made quietly about the infrastructure for accessing BTC for both retailers and institutions. I'm sure there is, and I'm sure there's more projects out there and more people talking about how the infrastructure and all of that stuff, the ecosystem is continuing to improve. The only problem is that there aren't people bringing more money into Bitcoin. There's no new interest. There's no new people. It's all the same people just churning it about. I agree, Alex. Bitcoin is here to stay regardless if it goes to 1K. That I will agree on. It is here to stay. And I haven't said that it won't someday play a significant role. Now, I don't know if it will be Bitcoin. It might. Bitcoin may provide that significant role, maybe something else. But I think crypto does have some future. Will it be the future? That I don't know. By the logic of SEC investigations, the small cap market shouldn't exist, but it does. What logic have they purported that somehow discounts that a small market should exist? I don't get that. They are simply regulate. Their job is to regulate markets, to keep them stable and safe for customers. They don't control markets. They don't make markets. They just look for fraudulent operators and put the screws to them. Now, Rich says, sorry, I'm late. Need to clean the old water pipe. So let me tell you something about water pipes. You want to get some great deals on water pipes. Go to some of the Chinese manufacturers. They have some fantastic glass work for cheap. I mean, in fact, it would probably make a great arbitrage that you could buy Chinese bongs and other things for 1/5 to 1/10 the price of what they go here in the U.S. And they'll ship them directly to people, to customers, and they're really high quality. Go check out my Dude from Earth YouTube channel, and you'll see one of those that I bought. I probably have 30 that I've bought. Really nice stuff. Brandon Adams says, crypto must die. All I says, crypto can't die. Ernie, rather than blanket statements, I think you should do a show where you do research on Bakkt. Talk about pros, cons. It's actually trying to address many of the SEC's issues. I'm sure it is. Because you have some major corporations that are involved in it. Here's the problem. It's not something that we can invest in. It's not something that's going to make a difference in our lives anytime soon. I'd rather wait to see what happens rather than spend any time where I could spend time on things that are way more productive. I'd rather spend time on options. I'd rather spend time on futures. I'd rather spend time evaluating companies in the real world, at least now. I don't mind doing, bridge work, and maybe Bakkt might be one of those. But right now, there is no market. There are no customers. I don't know. It just seems like a waste of time. And quite frankly, I'd much rather spend more time on marijuana and cannabis and Rick Simpson oil, cures for cancer, health, that sort of thing, way over Bakkt. I mean, it's not even close. They do close today, says All Eyes. I'm not sure what you're talking or referring to. Rich says, I think I'm addicted to shatter, wax oil. Yeah, shatter is very cool. You can smoke shatter in a rig or a vape pipe. And it's pretty cool. I make my own shatter. Or wax, or whatever you want to call it. I make my own oil. The CBOE, the Chicago Board of Exchange, means that they close today at 4. Oh, GMT, Central Time. Yeah, for me it's 5 o'clock, Eastern Time. Ernie, I buy bread with crypto using just my phone anywhere that accepts Visa, MasterCard. Good for you. All right, look, I'm not going to argue about the relatively small number of things that you can buy with crypto, and because you can, you have a service that basically allows you to use a debit card that has a facade of a MasterCard. Doesn't mean that that crypto is accepted everywhere. It just means that they have a way of immediately transferring it to fiat in a convenient way for you. That's all it means. So I really don't want to get into that. It's not productive. I was trolling with saying you love XRP, but I do, seriously, and think you should also. Nah. XRP is a solution looking for a problem. They've already tried 3 different things and failed. Now they're going on to the next thing. What do you think of Elon Musk and the SEC fraud charge? You know, to tell you the truth, I've missed that whole story because I've been enraptured by the Supreme Court justice hearing for Brett Kavanaugh. And then the unbelievable show that they had on there where they brought in Dr. Ford and then they had Brett Kavanaugh both give conflicting testimony. I mean, it's better than a movie. So I've been watching that. But I did hear that he is in some kind of trouble, but I don't know any of the details. Alex says, all right, point taken, wanting to research other things not backed. From a business standpoint, though, I've seen the viewership rates here when you have BTC in the title and when you don't. And you are absolutely right. And it is one of the reasons why I'm mentioning Bitcoin today. I was getting sick and tired of seeing 15 people viewing this. Even right now, there's only 31. And that's only because, I've spent the past 2 weeks talking about this other stuff and people have started to drift away. And so I am going to start talking about it to some degree, but I'm also going to be mixing in other things. This is what people want. That's what they're going to get. And I'm all about being a whore for the numbers. The Watcher. Iron. Hope the dog is still doing well. Yes, he is. Have you had any thoughts of doing a video on precious metals, especially silver? Yeah, I'm going to do some stuff on silver and gold and platinum pretty soon. But it's not high on the priority list. That's all I've got to say. We trade platinum and gold and silver in the AI, the futures system. So at least we do it there. I haven't really thought about really weighing in on the market per se lately, and that's mostly because I haven't been heavily invested in that market for a little while. Many of you know that last year and years before that, I was a very, very large trader in precious metals. I mean, a big trader. I mean, when you start looking at some of these other jamokes that are on talking about silver and they talk about how they know the market, I can guarantee you that I was trading as much as most of the silver pundits that were on YouTube combined by myself. But I haven't been into it that much lately. Have I shorted BTC? Not yet. I am looking to doing that. I think that today there was a very good opportunity to short it early on. It changed rather quickly. So I don't know. I think that it might have a slight more upside to go. And if we were to look at, here, let me show you the chart. We'll look at volume profile. So we can see, right around here, we can see this value node here, and there's a low value node right here. Let's bring this down. This is a logical place for it. I missed this opportunity mostly because it was at a time that I wasn't awake. And so I'm going to wait for it to climb up onto this volume node, maybe add, I think it will come up here for a little while. Similar to what it did over here. And if it does touch this line again, then I'll add my first position, my first short, looking for it to transverse this chasm. You going to debate Tone again? I'd like to, and I'd like to do some collaborative stuff with people. That's going to be one of those strategies that I'm going to have to put in place to start building the channel again. So I'm going to definitely be on a channel building push for the next few weeks, next several weeks, probably into the end of the year. I need to get this channel up to 3, 4, 5,000. Rich says, isn't that cool still? Crypto fiat purchases. I feel like it's the most practical project to bring everyday people to crypto. The problem is that most people don't understand it. They don't know about it. They don't care. All right. So that's the point. It's great for people that are familiar with it and have solved a lot of the intricacies of getting their fiat into crypto and then turning it back into the service so that they can use their crypto behind the scenes, which just seems like a whole lot of work to use a debit card. But most people have no idea that it even exists, nor do they care. Jeff Flake is getting weak knees. I heard that he was solid. Alex says, got to work it for those dollars, Ernie. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Got to. I'm definitely going to have to step up the game and do something that will attract more people here. And one way that you can help me is by hitting that like button. Just smash the like. I hate saying that. Wow, I don't want to get in. Just hit the like button, please, for me. Share out this video. Crypto crapto. That sounds like something on the day the earth stood still. Brato, nicto, clapto, crypto clapto. Do you think buying lots of physical silver and gold at this moment is wise, Ernie? I don't think buying a lot of anything right now is wise. I'm not sure why buying a lot of silver and gold is wise. I mean, it's probably not a bad idea to have at least some precious metals, but oh God, Nick, why did you have to bring up his name? Silicone would be a great debate too. No, I really have no desire to be on the same screen as Silicone. Besides, he's already banned me from his channel. Although that was my old channel, so I'm probably still able to go. Whatever. I don't care how big he gets. Now, Tone is a good guy. Actually has a pretty good head on his shoulder. Good business analyst. Not a great trader, but a good business analyst. I know, and he's big on Elliott Wave. I'd be doing nothing but... Never mind. It just wouldn't be pretty. It might be good theater for you guys, but it just wouldn't be pretty. And Steve, you're waiting on a 1K candle. Just don't overcommit yourself in this short because, quite frankly, it could go higher. I mean, we could see ourselves above 7,000. So plan for that. Plan for it in terms of your position sizing. So that's important. We could get up above 6,900, 7,100, all very possible. So if you're going to take a short here, do not overcommit. That's all I can say. Do you think that MS Ford recalls correctly? Oh, Ms. Ford. I really don't know. I really don't. I think that she has some problems. I think that she was assaulted at some point. I don't know. I'm doubtful that it was Brett Kavanaugh, but it could have been, and that would like upset the whole world. But she doesn't have any evidence. He does. How did you make out on your Tilray trade? Well, Tilray is still doing well. It is at 139 right now. So my average price is about 130, something like that, or 134. So I'm up. I'd like to see it go higher. It bumped up to 147.55 today. Unfortunately, it was a little too fast for me, or I was doing other things. Yeah, I agree that Phil Ocone debate would be entertaining, but it wouldn't be really a debate. I would just be, I don't know. I have a hard time watching him. Never mind debating him. I like watching Tone Vays. He's okay. Ernie, you need to do a few pop-ins on other YouTube channels, just so people who might not have realized your account was hacked can get back in touch with you. Yeah, and it's true. And it's a good strategy. But what I really need to do is I need to develop some content that's going to attract more people first. I will start doing some collaborative stuff, just not ready to do that right now. Ernie, when you make your first entry in a short, what kind of leverage do you open with? And do you increase it as you add to it or keep in the same entry every entry? No, what I do is I plan out where might be the first entry and then the last entry. All right, where I believe that you know, an outrageous run up might look like, and that would represent my full position in there, one position, and I may split that up into 4 or 5 tranches, and then I'll figure out where I need to add the other tranches until I have a full position. That's what I do, and I use volume profile, and I try to enter on volume wells for each one of those tranches. Dr. Ford thing was like over 30 years. It was 36 or 37 years ago. She could honestly have maybe a misrecollection. I don't believe that's a word. Salix. I would like to know how you would research cannabis companies to invest in when the dust settles. Well, that's not hard to do. I mean, all the data is out there. You can go on to Yahoo Finance and find out just about every company that exists that has at least an over-the-counter presence. You can also go to the major municipalities and states that have legalized, and you can look at what companies have registered with them, and that will allow you to at least find the private companies and monitor their news. What I would do is I would create Google alerts for all these different companies and some of the players, analysts, and others, so that I'm getting a constant stream of information about what's going on. Find out who are the primary analysts in the stock market for these guys, and then create alerts for these guys. Go to their blogs, go to their company blogs, and subscribe to them. Go to the companies and then set up the alerts. Do whatever it takes to get the information flowing to you. After you've done that, then you have to somehow categorize it and collect and categorize, and then rank it, sort it and rank it. I'm out of my short, too much above 7K, but I'll take that loss if need be. This shit looks like it's going to fall through the floor anytime. I know, but people are saying that all the time, Steve. No one really knows. No one really knows how high it's going to go, how low it's going to go. Really don't know. So I just plan like I don't know. There's a strategy. Plan your trades like you don't know where the price is going to go. Junior Browse, do you think there's going to be a pop in weed stocks soon? No, I think my general strategy right now is moving right into October 17th, which is the day that recreational weed becomes legal in Canada. I think that there is at least some momentum behind most cannabis stocks that it will generally move them up right up to that day. And then after that, it's kind of a, buy the rumor, sell the news event. Once that happens, then I think that we're going to see a big pullback. And that's where there's going to be some opportunities to get into some various cannabis stocks at lower prices. Now, the pop is going to happen as there's new news and new countries coming online, and particularly new states in the United States that come online, and if they make any kind of material changes in the DEA's schedule list. Those are the type of events that I think that are going to give a real big pop to this industry. You might also want to take a look at Spain and Israel and Australia and Canada and the companies that are set up in Germany and other places and also in South Africa and others where setting up businesses are illegal. Start looking for serious research that's being done and reports. I mean, all of this stuff. I mean, becoming invested in the industry means becoming intellectually invested. So that's my plan. And I'll talk about it a fair amount in the trade room. What leverage do you use? Max, 10 times? I trade futures. So the futures don't have a whole lot of leverage. It's only about 2.5, 3 times leverage. I don't use BitMEX, so there's really no leverage. Very, very little leverage. That's all I'm trading. That's right. I don't trade on BitMEX. I have an account there, and I can trade, but I choose not to. Would you say the best strategy would be to invest in the ETF MJ rather than the individual pot companies? I think for somebody that hasn't really done a lot of the work in evaluating these companies and understanding what you're getting into, that's probably a good way. And it's a good way to diversify your holding without actually diversifying. Another way would be to take a look at what are the holdings for MJ. There's about 30 stocks. And then maybe choose the 10 top stocks or 10 of those stocks that you would choose to invest individually. And then make up your own allocation across those and make your own ETF, per se. Adam, I've been successfully using your strategy on BitMEX. That's awesome. A lot of people have been using it. It's not that hard. Short every rally, short every rally, short every rally. It's a winner. Short every rally. Just short every rally. All right. We're now 40 minutes into the show. I like to keep it right around there. That's digestible by most people. I want to thank everybody for showing up here. I want to remind you that the Trader of Futures trade room is going to be opening up this weekend. I'll make an announcement either Sunday or Monday. I have to coordinate that with the Discord group because I'm going to make the Discord group private. So that will be an area for people that get into and register on the website. So you go to traderoffutures.com, register for the trade room. It's completely free. I'm going to be starting next week, starting to fill that up with a lot of content, a lot of my old content and any new content that I create. It'll be absolutely free. And I will provide a trade room where people can talk about this stuff on Discord. All right. So that's how it's going to work. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a great weekend. A lot of great stuff happening. I'm going to be introducing the artificial intelligence, the embodiment futures setup inference engine or artificial intelligence engine this weekend. After this weekend, I'm not going to be putting out, multiple setups every day. What I'll do is I'll put out teasers after that. So, the free ride, the free lunch is over, men and women. Sorry, free ride over. But for $99 a month, you can subscribe to it. I'm also going to be putting together a concentrated training on futures and also on simple FX for trading the embodiment. All right. And it's going to be a small price, but it'll be good. That's all I've got to say. See you next video.